As I mentioned at the top of the show, the election speculation is heating up. If Labor are going to skip a budget, there are really only two options left. Call it this weekend for April the 5th or the following weekend for April the 12th. Now, Sky News political editor Andrew Clennell reported today that the PM has called a cabinet meeting for Monday, which suggested April the 5th is out of the question. Then again, he could always call the election and scrap the meeting. Who knows? But I'm sticking with the date I've been on since way back. Some insiders are now focusing on April the 12th as a possible election date. It's going to be a long campaign. I reckon put a circle around April the 12th, right in the middle of Gather Round, unfortunately, but we'll see. Yeah, mucking up Gather Round is going to be a bummer for some of us, but it's the last possible date, the last plausible date that you can go to the election without delivering a budget. And that's why I've always favoured it. And with Labor's reckless spending and debt, you'd think that's the last thing they want to do is deliver a budget. Let's go to the panel now. And joining us, as ever, from Melbourne is Susie O'Brien from the Herald Sun. And in Canberra, we've got Stephen Senatiempo, breakfast host there at 2CC. Are you getting all your social engagements in order now, are you, Susie, for an April 12 election?
I love seeing those clips of you going back a year or more. Are you doing it Carl Stefanovic and wearing the same suit for a year? I'm thinking that's what you're trying to do.
Well, I do actually wear the same suit jacket every night, and it's pretty casual below the desk. But there you go, you're on to me. You'd be into it there, Stephen, all over Canberra. Obviously, there'd be a lot of focus on when it's actually going to happen. The public servants can't wait for the caretaker period.
Look, I've been saying April 12 for a while, but I am concerned that is the start of Passover. I don't know Passover doesn't start till after the polls close, and I don't know that the Prime Minister really wants to upset the Jewish community any further than he has. But I got an email today preparing for the budget lockdown, so who knows? I mean, there's all sorts of obfuscation going on to try and confuse us as to when the election's going to be, but look, I think they've got to go sooner rather than later because it just gets worse for them every week. Every day it gets worse. And, you know, if Peter Dutton can run a better campaign than Anthony Albanese, and most people would suggest that he can, I think this government's really in trouble.
Yeah, I think things are looking dire for them, Susie, because of that, because of the fact that we know Albo's not a good campaigner and they just can't pull a trick. I suppose that's an argument maybe not to call the election. While there's life, there's hope. They might have to string it out.
Oh, look, I can see them stringing it out as long as they possibly can. They need all the help they can get and all the time they can get. You know, a lot of Labor voters are genuinely disappointed in Albo. I'm a lot more left-leaning than you guys and a lot of people watching. But even I'm disappointed in him. I think he's made some really bad choices. And people are saying they're not that crazy about Peter Dutton, but they do feel profoundly let down by Albo.
They sure do. I tell you what, it's already looking like an election campaign, has done for a long while, I suppose, with lots of spending, but also lots of silly stunts. This one's for charity, but it's Albo at Kirribilli today.
Can't get out first ball.
To open the bowling. Look at the determination in Lindsay's face. Oh!
Yeah, no idea. Missed stumping there as well. But he mentioned you can't get out first ball, but you can get voted out after one term, even though it hasn't happened since 1931.